All right, everyone, welcome back. Decided to move into the man cave, get a little comfortable as we do some training. First topic in the first module, what your peers are doing right now. This is going to take place, this is looking back since like May, June time period. I could say at the Financial Marketing Summit where everyone got together, you could hear the creaking in the industry and you could feel the fear. It was very palpable. And it kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't actually expecting to walk into that, but there were a lot of people who were already affected by major layoffs, and I feel super bad for them. And I know that they'll recover because there's a lot of smart people in this industry. So I'm going to go ahead and start by going over to this module, what your peers have been doing since June. All right. So as a whole, if I look at my advertisers and the same advertisers that run in other networks, about 20% of them have stopped advertising entirely. They've stopped their customer acquisition process. Maybe they do a little bit of affiliate things on the side, but for the most part, they've just stopped. 30% have reduced their customer acquisition efforts by about 50%. 30% have kept their customer acquisition efforts the same, kind of par for the course. They no more, no less. And about 20% have increased their customer acquisition steadily over the last 5 to 6 months. All right, so let's dig into these a little bit further. So if you're among the 20% who have paused your customer acquisition efforts, research indicates, if you look back over the last 100 years, and there are many different sources that you could look into this, but research indicates that that is the wrong thing to do, at least for a long period of time. You will not be able to sustain, if your plan is to just wait until everything snaps back. I hope it snaps back in January, February, March, but the reality is we could be in this for a year. So you have to be prepared to adapt. So here are some interesting stats. So first off, going back to the Great Depression, so late 1920s, early 1930s, Post and Kellogg's were the leaders of the cereal industry. And during the Great Depression, Kellogg decided to really push forward. They launched Rice Krispies, which obviously everyone still knows today. And everyone knows what a cornflake is, but let's face it, you're going to want some Rice Krispies. Am I right? So the result is Kellogg's remained the leader, and I believe still remains the leader for decades and decades, and like almost like 100 years at this point. So now, while all of that doesn't have to do with the fact that they really doubled down during the Great Depression, that began their lead between the two companies. All right, so next, in 1973 and 1975, there was an energy crisis which caused a bit of a recession, and the two competing advertisers are going to be Honda and Toyota. And what was interesting is they are extremely chauvinistic. Look at this. Women only drive automatic transmissions. It's actually a pretty kind of interesting time capsule of copy right there. And while I can't actually read the Toyota copy, it's a little bit too small. I know what they're trying to say, and it's something kind of similar. So what happened was Honda decided to pull back. Toyota actually had a long-term vision that they stuck to, even though it was worrisome, and they are still the leaders today by a substantial amount. All right, moving to more recent history, we've got the recession in 1990 and 1991, and I'm going to bring us over to retail food, or fast food rather. And during this period of time, based on the research that I looked at, McDonald's cut way back, and Taco Bell and Pizza Hut decided to double down on their marketing efforts and their customer acquisition efforts. And as a result, during that period, Pizza Hut increased sales by 61% during the recession, and Taco Bell grew their sales by 40%, while McDonald's sales declined by 28%. It ended up being a self-fulfilling prophecy. So they pulled back and sales went down. The other two ponied up, and they did it in an intelligent way that worked out. It's not always going to work out. Of course, bad marketing is bad marketing, but there's always a way to market something if you're an astute student of marketing. All right, so next and finally here, we've got Amazon versus everybody, basically. Oops. So Amazon versus everybody. So this is during the Great Recession. And during the Great Recession, when every basically every other retail location was in a slump, a multi-year slump. Amazon grew by 28% in 2009. So this really tells us a couple things. It tells us that growing during a recession or an economic downturn is absolutely possible. And like I said at the beginning of this, I launched my business during the Great Recession, and I grew every single year steadily. And so did the clients that we were working with as well. So I don't know if there's a magic bullet, but there's definitely a perspective that you need to really adopt. And that is, am I just going to let this situation, this economical situation, like put me out of business, set me back 3 years? I don't know about you, but I worked really hard to get to where we are right now, and so did my entire team, and I know you all did as well. So the last thing you're going to want to do is sign yourself up for multiple years of pain. Don't do it. You have to figure it out, and I'm going to hopefully help you do so. All right, so let's talk about the 30% who pulled back. I totally understand. I would imagine that your budgets are cut way down, and as a result, your customer acquisition is cut way down, and as a result, your revenues are cut way down. And I'm sure you're feeling it, and I know a lot of businesses that are in this category, and they're definitely feeling it. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be in this situation. What I am saying, I mean, if you can't afford to grow, invest in growth right now, you need to figure that part out first. You certainly shouldn't just throw money at it and see what happens. But what you should be doing is saying, okay, this is our new baseline. Let's not go below this. And then we need to be able to at least grow incrementally over the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. And how are we going to do that? Don't think about where I was last year. Don't think about where I was in February. That is not going to help you right now. You need to draw a line in the sand and say, this, wherever you are right now in December, this is your new bottom. And January, you have to do things differently. You have to turn customer acquisition on. You have to do it. And here's why. Because the 30% who have kept their budgets the same are now, as we speak, taking market share from the first two groups that I talked about. Congratulations, you jerks. This is just, free market economy. There's an opportunity. They're not intentionally doing it, but a result of those who are pulling back right now, who have pulled back, the result is they're acquiring customers that you are not if you are in the other groups. And that's just the way that it works. And then finally, we have those groups here that are increasing their customer acquisition budget steadily. And, I do look at history to make decisions in the future, but I do not rely on historical results to do investments and stuff like that, whatever that damn disclaimer is. Historical profits do not predict future results. However, I do believe that those businesses right now who are successful in modifying their message and adapting their sales and marketing processes and increasing their customer acquisition efforts will likely become the leaders of the FinPub industry in 2023 and beyond. The data is there supporting this. I'm seeing it right now within our network. Right? We just got a message from 2 of our clients on the 7th day of the month saying ROI is fantastic. How do we ramp it up? So the reason that I believe that this is going to happen is for a pretty simple reason. There are simply less advertisers advertising. And if you take a look at what the New Yorker says, that because there was less advertising, that in the 1990 and 1991 recession, twice as many companies leaped from the bottom of their industries to the top as did so in the years before and after. That's nuts. So hopefully what you're seeing here is there's a major opportunity for those of you who are ready to grow. Don't think it's not possible. You can do it. You just have to do it the right way, and you have to do it intelligently. All right. So my entire purpose of this video and this training is to help you modify your messaging, help you to adapt your sales and marketing efforts and processes, and help you successfully and responsibly ramp up your customer acquisition efforts while remaining profitable. So here's the deal. We're not the type of company, if we work together currently, you know this, if we're about to work together after you're watching this, you're going to find out. We're not the type of company that just says, here's an order that we just received and we're just going to place it. That is not it at all. We spend quite a bit of time up front trying to figure out what your goals are. And then the first time you tell us, we have to dig in deeper to find out if those are really your goals. My team is extremely proficient. We've got processes up the yin yang, and we manage your account and manage your expectations as if it were our own budget. Because at the end of the day, it really is. If you're not successful here, where do we go? Right? So it's not like we have like 10,000 different customers that we could burn through that. And, that'd be a really crappy thing to do. So when you start working with us, or as we're working, as I said, you already know, we're going to be doing this with you anyway. We're always trying to give you ideas to help your conversion rates. But the specific purpose of this training is so that I can talk to as many people as possible, because I can only be on so many phone calls or Zoom calls or whatever. And hopefully you'll find at least one nugget of information that will affect your business positively. And it only takes one little strategy. In fact, I created a strategy 9 years ago, one simple strategy, and I haven't even messed with it much, and I've made millions of dollars off of it. I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you that like just one thing working properly can change your entire life. Alrighty, so that's enough of this stuff. What we're going to do now is we're going to transition over into something called CIBS. I'm going to tell you what it is, how to avoid it, or if you find yourself in it, how to fix it. That's coming right up.